Welcome to an 8-1 and 2 combined lesson. So the lesson essential question is, how can I use tangent and inverse tangent to solve for unknown sides and angles? So that's what we want to focus on today. And to do that, we're going to focus on SOHCAHTOA, and that's just a phrase for people to remember that the sine of an angle is opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the tangent of an angle is opposite over adjacent. We are going to be focusing on tangent today because that was the essential question. So we want to remember opposite side over adjacent side. So the tangent of an acute angle in a right triangle, so here's my acute angle, right triangle, is the ratio of the length of the side that is opposite the reference angle. So that if this is where I'm standing, this is the opposite side. This is the adjacent side. I can touch it. The hypotenuse is not being used right now. So it's only opposite and adjacent. That is the ratio of the length of the side that is opposite the reference angle to the length of the side that is adjacent to the reference angle. The expression tangent of A means the tangent of angle A. You can use the tangent of an angle to describe the slope of the line. So if the opposite over adjacent, if this is higher, if this opposite's bigger, that means that the ratio of opposite over adjacent, if opposite, what here was 2 and here is now 2, so it was 2 over, let's say A is 3, but then the whole thing would be 4 over 3. That describes how steep the angle is. So when we're solving problems with tangents, we have used the Pythagorean theorem to solve for an unknown side length in a right angle, a right triangle, given 2 of the sides. In this activity, you will learn to explore how you can use the tangent ratio to solve for an unknown side, given an angle and a side length. So we know tangent equals opposite over adjacent. And I'm standing right here at 4 degrees. So the tangent of 4 degrees equals, well, if I'm here, opposite side is this one, 20 over adjacent side of x. Now, I want to do some math, cross multiply, or the trick is I can just take the numerator and denominator on opposite sides of the equation and swap them. So x will equal 20 over the tangent of 4 degrees. As we learned in our class investigation, the tangent is just a number. So I'm going to go here now and use my calculator, and first things first, I'm going to hit mode. And I can see here that there's 4 down, it says radian or degree. I always want to check if my answer is in degree, or if the units are for degree. So I just hit enter, then I hit second quit, and now I can do the math. I can say 20 divided by, and the tangent, sine, cosine, tangent, those buttons are right above your numbers, tangent, and then I just hit 4. Hit enter, and the number is 286.01. So I go back to this. So 286, and it says nearest inch. So that'd be inches. And this makes sense. If it's 4 degrees, that's not very high. The number that I get should be much bigger than 20. So I want you guys to pause the video now and you guys try B. You're still going to use the tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, welcome back. So we're standing here. Opposite side is our unknown. So I have y. Adjacent side, that's the side I'm touching, That's 100. And this equals the tangent of 4. So I want to get y by itself in this case. I'm going to multiply by 100. So this number goes in my calculator, and it's going to give me the answer. 100 times the tangent of 4. And that's going to be 6.99. I'm going to go back here. It says nearest inch, so y would be 6.99 rounded to the nearest inch would make y equal 7 inches. So whenever I have a problem where I'm trying to solve, I have a missing side, I'm going to use tangent of the number, the angle they're giving me, equals opposite over adjacent. I'm going to have opposite as I had in this case, or I'm going to have adjacent as I did in this case, and I put the number in, and then I either cross multiply and swap them, or I just multiply by the adjacent, and I put everything in the calculator. As part of our lesson central question, we're also going to learn how to find missing angles. So we're going to use the inverse tangent for that. So inverse tan, also said as arctangent of x, is the measure of an acute angle whose tangent is x. When you know the length of any two sides of a right triangle, it is possible to compute the measure of either acute angle by using the inverse tangent, or you can also write it like this if you want to in inverse tangent. That's the button on the calculator. So let's see how we would do this. So I want to find angle E. So I'm going to put my body here. This is my reference angle. Tangent of angle E equals opposite. Opposite is 3. And adjacent is 8. Then I need to get tangent E by itself. Well, if E was being squared, I would square root it. If E was being divided by 2, I'd multiply by 2. Both of these things are inverse operations of what's happening. So I'm going to inverse tan, a tan, and that cancels out. So then I'm going to have E equals inverse tan of 3 over 8. This whole thing goes in my calculator. So to get to inverse tan, I have to hit second, the tan button. Second makes it go to the blue button. And I do 3 over 8, hit enter, and that's 20.55 degrees. So E equals, and it was 20.55, we'll round to the nearest tenth, 20.6 degrees. This one, I want you guys to solve for x, and then pause the video, and then come back when you're done. Okay, welcome back. So this one, we're trying to solve for x, so I'm standing right here. My reference angle was x, so the tangent of x equals opposite over adjacent. Opposite is the far side, 37, and the adjacent is 85. I want to get rid of tan, so I'm going to inverse tan a tan. Those cancel out. And then in my calculator, I'm going to write inverse tan of 37 over 85. Go to my calculator. Second, inverse tan, 37 divided by 85. Oh. Uh-oh. 85. Enter. And I get 23.52. So x is 23.52. We'll round to the nearest tenth equals 20. What did I say? Yeah, 23.52. Okay. 23.5 degrees. I don't know if you remember, if you notice this, all angles are measured in degrees, and all my units for sides have a unit. This, you've got to have units for this section. So there is no you do it, but you're going to talk to me during the lesson essential question check-in where you're going to answer this question. How can you use tangents and inverse tangents? So as you do the lesson, Delta Math and Mathia, figure out and make sure you could answer this question, and then once you figure it out, come talk to me.